Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to tell when the anxious preoccupied attachment style is becoming more secure. So, this is a big topic, and it's actually a really exciting topic. It's pretty close to my heart because I've gotten to see so many beautiful people come into our school and come into our programs and do the work and become very secure. And I'm not going to go into all the reasons of how to become secure, although I will do a separate series about this. I have all these ongoing ideas to create videos as soon as I start making a video. But I'm going to tell you some symptoms and sort of signposts of how you can know that you're moving on a secure track, or how you can know if you're the partner of an anxious person who's doing the work, that they're moving in a secure track to a secure attachment style as well. So before I dive into this video, I just want you guys to know very quickly that we're doing all sorts of supportive strategies and outreach and stuff to our community right now. So we're offering scholarships inside of our personal development school. We're also offering a 25% off coupon code for any 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month memberships, as well as single course purchases. So it's with you, all one word. And you can punch that into the checkout, like your little apply coupon when you go to checkout, and they'll give you 25% off any of those things. And if you need further financial assistance because of some of what's going on in the world right now, you're welcome to reach out to my team at info@personaldevelopmentschool.com, and they're going to help you out and get you organized with something that is suitable and helpful for you. And we really try to put a huge emphasis inside our school on community. So we have 3 live webinars a week. We have a discussion forum. We have our Facebook group. We have all these different sort of little mastermind groups that are popping up, these little breakout sessions between people who are doing the work and want to connect over it. So yeah, let us know anything you need, and let me know as well any video topics you want to see and hear on YouTube, any of that. And I'm paying attention and going through it as much as I can, and then creating video content accordingly. So this video today was by popular request from yesterday's video about how to tell if somebody is becoming more secure when they're anxiously attached. So the way I want to do this is yesterday's video I was saying these are the signposts for the dismissive-avoidant and how to tell if they're becoming secure. And today I really want to be these are what this is what a secure relationship looks like, and here's how to tell the sort of steps you'll see in the general order from which the anxiously attached individual becomes more secure. So a few key things. Secure individuals feel comfortable and safe identifying and expressing their needs to others. Usually this is because in childhood or in their early relationships, their way of relating was that they learned that that was okay, and that expressing their needs to others often helped, and that they were allowed to sort of work through. They usually didn't have super authoritarian parents who were this is the way that it's going to be and there's no end for discussion. Usually they were taught and encouraged almost to communicate, to sort of set boundaries and to have those boundaries respected, or to say hey, this is what I want, even though this is what you're saying I should do. And they learned how to negotiate around their needs. So this is one of the huge cornerstones of a secure relationship, is learning to understand your needs in real time, being in touch with your needs enough in general that when something's unmet, there's a deep awareness of it, and you can be hey, I realize that I need more of this in the relationship. And you can say that to whoever it is, a friend, a family member, or a romantic partner. And so this is a huge cornerstone. Another huge cornerstone is the ability to self-soothe and soothe through others. They're not mutually exclusive for a secure person. There's this ability to regulate your own emotions and work through them in your internal reality, and then also to express to others and allow there to be space for those things to be validated, seen, heard, understood by others at the same time. And you can think of it as this ability to know that I am empowered to express and meet my own needs. And if any time I want to express and get needs met through others, I feel empowered to do that as well. But if this is unavailable, I have this, and I feel masterful at both. And so there's this huge needs component in terms of how to become secure in a relationship: identifying your needs, knowing your needs, communicating, meeting your own needs, and feeling like you have efficacy, self-efficacy at doing all of those different things. So that's a big one. Another huge one is the ability to regulate your emotions in and of themselves. So not just through expressing needs, but also through working through the stories you tell yourself, the meaning you give to things, really questioning and trying to see something from another person's point of view instead of just seeing that for yourself, right? Like instead of just going, oh, this person's cold and it means they're disconnecting and they no longer want to be with me, being able to be like, oh, what might be going on in their life that they're becoming cold? And let me inquire, let me ask questions, let me not just assume a story and then project that or bring that into the relationship, which is something that people do around specific traumas that they have. They reproject is what I call it. So they reproject essentially means like old traumas or pain points. Like if you felt emotionally abandoned in childhood through inconsistency, for example, then when a partner abandons you now emotionally because they're withdrawing, well, let's say a partner withdraws now, you assume that it is them abandoning you or them about to fully abandon you and leave the relationship. And so you're basically like taking an old wound and putting it back on a current situation, reprojecting it back onto a current situation. So I'm sure that probably made sense the first time around, but just in case, I want to make sure I explain everything so everybody understands each of these sort of points. So this is like one big piece. And another huge piece is feeling like you can set boundaries and actually be able to say, hey, this is okay with me and this isn't, and feel like you can honor those boundaries within yourself and stand up for them and show up for them and not feel guilty and ashamed any longer because you have them. Okay. Another huge piece is to communicate through things, to be able to see another person's point of view, to properly empathize, not just sympathize. Okay. Empathize means like you try to understand from somebody else's point of view or perspective. Sympathize is like you just feel sad for them based on what you sort of see at a surface level, right? Instead of trying to take their situation fully into consideration. Okay. And then another huge point of security in a relationship is being able to maintain healthy interdependency. So not like losing yourself because you jump into a relationship and giving up on the balance in all of the 7 areas of life, but actually being able to be like, hey, I'm showing up here for myself and I'm doing well and I'm quite effective in these areas, and I'm balanced and I still have my friendships and my family relationships and my working relationships, and I show up in all these different areas, and a romantic partnership is a beautiful addition to all of that. It doesn't become like my single focal point of my world and I give up myself and my needs and all these other areas of my life and create imbalances accordingly. So it's really like breaking out of that codependent cycle. There are other like less major sort of pieces of becoming secure, but a lot of it's trusting. We'll still say they're major, but I'm not going to go into like the nuances of them right now. Learning to trust effectively, learning to communicate effectively, right? And bringing vulnerability in a way where vulnerability isn't like, I feel bad and it's your fault. Vulnerability is like, I feel afraid. And something that's really interesting on this note, and again, maybe I can make a separate video about this, but a lot of anxious, preoccupied individuals are and even fearful avoidants are seen as being vulnerable because they express their emotions, but usually they're expressing their emotions when they're like overflowing with emotions. So a lot of times you'll see, for example, that like, yes, the anxious person becomes vulnerable eventually, but they're actually not very proactively vulnerable, and it's a point of work for them. Usually anxious will be like, I'm so upset, I'm so angry, like, or, you know, sort of have these sadness, like emotional dumps on their partner when they feel like something's going on. But usually when they start to feel bad, they don't go to their partner and say, hey, I feel a little bit unsafe and I could really use some validation. Usually they don't say those things. They don't recognize them in real time. And then when it's too late, they emotionally dump on their partner. And then usually that feels ineffective because the other person feels sort of like, whoa, where's this all coming from? This is out of nowhere. But it wasn't for the anxious person. They experienced all this pain, held it in, and then it came out in a messier way later on. So just a side note there. So for the anxious person specifically, so those are some of the cornerstones. There are others. I have an entire course on this inside of the school, the 10 pillars of a secure relationship. It's called a relationship mastery course. And we go into all these things in great detail. But for the anxious, this is what you'll usually see on their path to becoming more secure. The first thing that we'll see is they start to develop a relationship to themselves. They start to take themselves into consideration when they're making decisions. So they don't just go, what does everybody expect from me? What should I be doing from everybody else? They're like, oh, what do I feel? And what do I need? And what do people expect? And let me find like a healthy compromise somewhere in the middle there. And that's healthy. That's healthy interdependence, right? It's when things become mutually exclusive, like maybe the DA, the dismissive avoidant, is more like, I'm making my decision for myself and I'm not willing to budge. And then maybe anxious preoccupieds are more like, I am making decisions only from what people expect of me. I don't even know that I have feelings and needs in the mix. I don't even sort of connect to them or give them room for in my decisions. And then fearful avoidance can be like very one-sided for a while and then feel triggered by that and go to being very the other sided and feel triggered by that and go very, and they sort of oscillate a lot more back and forth. So healthy interdependence looks like considering both, and this is the essence of what a secure person does. And so we'll see that as a big signpost of when transformation starts to occur. And then the next big piece that I'll see is they learn to stop telling stories. They learn to stop giving meaning to things, and they learn to ask questions instead. So instead of being like, you're cold, it means you're abandoning me, or you're going out somewhere without me, that means you don't love me. They learn to go to the situation and go, hey, I'm feeling a little bit insecure. I'm feeling a little bit nervous. Will you check in with me when you're out tonight? Or, hey, is there a reason you didn't invite me? I want to hold space for you to be able to go and do things, and I want to support independence, but I couldn't help but feel confused by it, and I would love some clarity around it. And the next thing you'll see, and this is like a little bit more advanced, but when the anxious person starts becoming very secure, they learn to be empowered in their boundary setting. They learn to say no to things, and they do so consistently enough and expose themselves enough to this over time where they don't feel guilty for having boundaries or ashamed. They actually see that boundaries come to deeply empower their relationships, because what a boundary really is an authentic expression of who you are, what you feel, what you need. And it's only through setting boundaries consistently and speaking up consistently that you will begin to feel truly seen, heard, understood, and thus deeply loved by others. And this really applies for fearful avoidance as well. A lot of this actually does, just on the anxious side of fearful avoidant. So those are some of the key things you'll see to begin with. And as a result of all these things, they start to feel obviously more empowered communicating because it encompasses some of those things. They start to trust more deeply because they feel seen and understood, and they can see and understand back better. And as a result as well, they start to learn to respect other people's boundaries, because anxious preoccupied really want to respect people's boundaries, and they mean to respect people's boundaries. They intend to. But often what can happen is they can be so overwhelmed by their own emotions that they accidentally violate other people's boundaries without even consciously recognizing it. So it's an important thing, and it stops them from seeing and hearing and understanding other people. Somebody might say, I want space for a little bit. I've had a busy day, and they might go, no, I'm going to bring you something. I'm going to do something for you. And they do these things not realizing that, hey, that person just said they wanted some space and you need some time alone to recharge, and you just hugely violated their boundaries. And so there's a lot of sort of nuanced pieces in here, but these are some of the basic things you'll see first and foremost. And what you can take away from this as well is, if this is you and you're working on this as an anxious person, what you can focus on is also to intentionally do these things. Like if you see yourself and you're like, oh, okay, these are things that I don't do, take inventory. Like, which of these things are you already doing? Which of these things are you not doing at all? It's okay if there's none of them. Do not worry. You can start that work. And then how can you start showing up consistently to practice these things and make these a part of your practice in the way that you relate to others, so that you can at least be on the path to becoming more secure. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.